Myself, Wankhede, Yashwantara Shinde Junior College, Bhadravati. Friends, today we will discuss about the poetry section. One of them, the poem is The Cherry Tree. This cherry tree is written by Ruskin Bond. I think that you have guessed that by his English name, you have guessed that he is English poet. But friends, no, he is Indian poet. He was born in Kasuli in Himachal Pradesh. He has received a Sahitya Academy Award in 1992 as well as he has won Padma Shri Award in 1999. He was born in 1934 in Kasuli in Himachal Pradesh. Now he resides in Uttarakhand. Ruskin Bond has written hundreds of books, short stories, essays, novels, as well as he has written few books on children by his name. Friends, I think that this is sufficient information about the Ruskin Bond. Before starting this poem, I will ask you some questions. I hope that I will get it. First of all, I ask you that have you ever participated for tree plantation in school? Yes, your answer is yes. Very good. Have you know the cherry tree? Yes, very good. Before starting this poem, first of all, I will read this poem and you have to listen carefully. I read this poem, first stanza. Cherry tree, 8 years have passed since I placed my cherry seed in the grass. Must have a tree of my own, I said, and water it once and went to bed and forgot. But cherries have a way of growing, though no one's caring very much or knowing. And suddenly that summer, near the end of May, I found a tree had come to stay. It was very small, 5 months child, lost in the tall grass running wild. Goats ate the leaves, the grass cutters kite, split it apart and a monsoon blight. Shrieked the slender stem, even so. Next spring I watched 3 new shoots grow. The young tree struggle upward thirst, its arms in fresh fierce lust. Friend, this is the first part of the poem. Let's talk about this poem. The cherry tree, this poem is about the ecstasy of poet over the cherry tree, which he planted once and it took 8 years to grow. Friends, this is a long poem, but it is very meaningful. It has a deep meaning. It symbolizes the human being. In the first stanza of the poem, the poet says that 8 years have passed since I placed my cherry seed in the grass. The poet says that once I planted a seed of cherry tree in a ground, he watered it and then go to the bed, forgetting that in order that it will grow naturally. It will grow in its way by nature. But what happened? And forget, but cherries have a way of growing, though no one's caring very much of knowing. No one had cared it. No one had known about the seed of cherry tree. The plant was totally alone. It was totally unnoticeable. And suddenly that summer, near the end of the May, the poet says that what happened? In the end of the May, summer, it was very hot. He watched that There was a small plant. It was growing in the ground. It was growing among all the wild grass, among all the tall grass. It was alone, lost in the tall grass, running wide. It got lost amid the tall grass. Even though it wants to grow, it was struggling for place to survive itself. The poet says that goats ate the leaves. He saw that goats used to grazing. Not only the goats, they eat the green leaves of the tall grass. And the grass cutter had cut the branches of the white grass. Still, this small plant of cherry tree was alive. It was struggling hard in between them, in between staying. Split it apart and monsoon bright. But what happened? And after a few days, the monsoon season arrives. And the poet saw that there was a fungal plant disease. And it withered the sapling of cherry tree. It covered it. And due to the fungal infection, the small plant was dried up. It was totally, not totally, but few, it was damaged. It was dried up. And the poet could see that, oh, it is really dried. The poet in next line says that, I watched 3 new shoots grow. And when the next spring season comes, poet says that at the arrival of the next spring season, he found that he observed that there were 3 small leaves on the dried stems of the sapling of cherry tree. And that's why he was so happy. He glad. His joy no bound. Because earlier he had seen that there was the dried stem of the sapling, but now it is converted into fresh stem. And it was trying to grow. That's why he was pleased. The young are struggle upward thus, and the small plant was struggling hard. It was struggling, uplifting upwards towards the sky. It was uplifting eagerly and forgetting the sunlight, forgetting the sun more, forgetting the oxygen. It wants to grow. It wants to survive in this place, on this earth. And that's why it was eagerly to grow itself. The young tree struggle upward thirst. The small plant wants to gain something, to cover something, its place on this earth. It's on in a fresh, fierce lust. The poet says that in spite of all difficulties, the small plant which he planted earlier was now struggling hard. It overcomes the obstacle which he caught among all the wild grass, among the tall grass, but he was still alive. He was struggling to somehow to stay survive or alive on the earth. And in this first stanza, the Ruskin Bond says that really this poem is very, it makes us inspired that everyone should overcome the obstacle when he faces in his life. Really, it's true. We should overcome the obstacles. We should fight against the odd ones. In this way, the poet says that really this is the good poem which inspires human being. Cherry tree is the best example for a human being. It symbolizes human being. And in this way, poet expresses his wonder on the miracle of nature. He wonders to the beauty of nature. And we can say that the cherry tree is realized. We can say that really this is symbolized to human being. Though the small plant was dried up, it was totally damaged, still it was struggling hard against the odd ones, against the worst situation, against the adverse situation, and finally he stay on the ground to make dependent. In this way, the poet says that this is very inspiring poem to us, and we can learn much more things from this cherry tree. In this way, friends, we have completed this first stanza, and remaining parts will be taken soon tomorrow. That's all.